Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Tuesday, September 30th, 2025, I believe it is. Year's coming to a close fast. Stand up for your country. So who does President Trump listen to really? Anybody? Anybody around him give him advice that he acts upon? Well, we have his son, Eric Trump, on. A couple of minutes. We'll ask him that question and a bunch of others. He's got a book out. But I'd really like to know who the president favors in the advice department at this point. Talking Points Memo is another hectic day for Mr. Trump. So he begins Quantico, Virginia. That's the headquarters of the Marines. FBI's there too, outside of D.C., of course. And he and Secretary of War, it's not Defense Secretary anymore, Pete Hegseth, telling the generals they can't be fat. Got to be in shape, and no more political correctness, and no more DEI, and no more anything. Okay. And, anybody surprised by this? You shouldn't be. Donald Trump does not like the woke stuff, and neither does Secretary Hegseth. So I'm going to play you one soundbite on this. It's not that controversial. I'm looking to see if there's any subversion about this message, and we'll have that tomorrow. But here's what the president said today. Go.
We're bringing back a focus on fitness, ability, character, and strength. And that's because the purposes of American military is not to protect anyone's feelings. It's to protect our republic. And it's the republic that we dearly love. It's to protect our country. We will not be politically correct when it comes to defending American freedom, and we will be a fighting and winning machine.
Okay, so then the president goes back to the White House and makes an announcement that's fairly important about lowering drug prices. So this, particularly for senior citizens, is a big, big issue. And Trump has made a deal with Pfizer. There's going to be some kind of Trump RX thing. You can get all this on the internet and all of that, but you're going to be able to buy prescription drugs in particular for a lower price, according to President Trump. Roll it.
The United States is paying sometimes 10 times more than other countries for drugs, and a lot of excuses were made for that, but it went on for many years, many years, decades, and it's not going on any longer. We're going to be paying the lowest price now.
Well, we'll see. And I hate to use that cliche, we'll see. That's what all the pinheads on television, we'll see. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it'll work or not. I think it might, and that's big. President Trump can slash those drug prices, but remember, he's on a clock. He doesn't have 3 years to do it. He's got 1 year to do it because the midterms loom, and that's for sure. Same thing with the food prices and the groceries and all that. Got a year. Quick. Now, in addition, the Gaza 20-point plan, and again, you can go and look at it. I don't have time to go over 20 points, but I'll summarize it for you, is in motion. And Hamas announced today that they're looking at it or whatever. Got to understand one thing. The Hamas terrorists that live in Gaza and control that area of Palestine, Hezbollah controls the West Bank. So there's two terror operations that have the Palestinian people, they're holding them hostage. Because if you're a Palestinian, you live in the West Bank, you live in Gaza, and you say, hey, I don't like you, Hamas, you're dead. That's it. So the Hamas people run Gaza. They don't want to stop the fighting because then the money from Iran stops if there were peace. And Hamas terrorists are out of business. I opened my book, Confronting Evil, with the October 7th attack, which is coming up. Okay? And I put you right in the middle of that thing so you understand the mindset of evil, Hamas evil. That's how we open the book. But we put you right there. Hamas does not want to stop this. And there's not a lot of outside pressure on Hamas to stop it. So I'm not pessimistic. I'm agnostic. I don't know what the next step will be. Here's what I do know. This was a nice try by President Trump. And for those who hate him, particularly in the Jewish community, I mean, the man's trying. Biden never tried, ever. And Netanyahu's in a win-win position here. Netanyahu had to go along with this. But if Hamas rejects this, then Netanyahu's going to go in and kill them all. And that's going to mean a lot of civilians are going to get killed because the Hamas people hide behind, and you know the drill. Okay? So Netanyahu either gets a deal or he gets to eliminate the rest of Hamas. No downside for him. Now, there are two main things. Within 72 hours of a peace agreement, a ceasefire, all the hostages and the bodies of the dead hostages have to be released, 72 hours. Okay. And then Gaza is to be rebuilt under an international commission headed by President Trump, with an assist from former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. So they're going to set up like a corporation. And Trump's vision has always been, and he ran this by me shortly after he was elected last November, to make it a tourist destination because it's right on the Mediterranean. And to have all this Arab investment money coming in from the Gulf to build these big hotels and to give a structure to the Palestinian people so they can earn a living. It is a good vision. Okay, if you travel to the Middle East, there are resorts on the Red Sea. Alexandria, Virginia is trying to ramp up in that area. Malta, the island of Malta in the Mediterranean. You can do that. Turkey's got a very nice tourist coastline. And that's Trump's vision. Now, whether any of this is going to happen, who knows? Because again, terrorists are terrorists. That's what they're named for. They hate Jews, they want to kill Jews. And that's the memo. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or place in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Joining us now is a man who knows the President of the United States pretty well because he's his father. Eric Trump is a new book. It's out October 14th. Under Siege, My Family's Fight to Save Our Nation. And he joins us now from Palm Beach, Florida. All right, here's my first question for you. Does your dad listen to you when you give him an opinion?
I think he listens to everybody when you give an opinion. That's the amazing thing about Donald Trump. I saw this bill starting on construction sites when I was a little kid. He'd go up to the electrician who was putting an outlet in the wall. He would ask him his opinion, right? Then he'd go to the head of the construction company, ask his opinion, and ultimately he would formulate his own based on kind of the opinions of a lot of people and who he thought was credible and what great ideas kind of, rose to the top. And it's one of the things that makes the guy amazing.
All right. So I assume that you discuss politics with your father, correct?
Often.
And then your wife, Laura, very outspoken. You guys discuss. What percentage of the time do you think he listens to you? 80%?
Bill,
40?
I called him the morning of, and I'm in a unique position. He asked me to run the company when I was 33 years old, and I run one of the great real estate empires anywhere in the world. But, I called him the morning of November 6th. I go, Pops, I love you to death. I've been there since you came down the escalator. I've stood on that stage every single time. I've done thousands of speeches, and I'm going to get the hell out of politics at this point. I'm retiring. Congratulations. We won the Super Bowl, and, you're going to do a great job for the country. I'm going to do a great job for the company. But no, listen, there's certain people in his inner circle that he listens to. I express my opinions all the time. And, we certainly share the same DNA in terms of how we think about these issues. I mean, you're talking about crime in these cities. Look what a great job he did in Washington, D.C. He cleaned up the crime in about 2 seconds flat. And then he's walking around the parks talking about how he wants to replace the grass to make it look beautiful, to make Washington, D.C. look like one of our golf courses. I think that's a beautiful thing for the country and a beautiful thing for the nation.
Yeah, it would be, but last time I was there, I got a sprinkler on me because, no, I'm just fooling around. Okay, now look, I'm going to ask you this question. You don't have to answer it. I don't want to embarrass you in front of your father, but do you ever disagree with him? Do you ever say, hey, Dad, maybe that's a little bit too much that you're doing here? Maybe we don't want to take over Canada? Maybe that's not the best plan.
Bill, in all fairness, I love the idea of taking over Canada. I also like the idea of taking Greenland, right? There are other countries you can keep that are neighbors of ours, but no, I do think Canada should be the 51st state. I certainly think Listen, I think, joking aside, I think, every child has probably slight disagreements, with parents and philosophies and other things, but I've got to say this guy's the most transformational person. I mean, the reason I've stood on the stage is not Bill, the reason I've stood on the stage is not because I need this job, believe me. It's because I care deeply, and I think the guy's doing a phenomenal job. As you saw today, when he's talked to every single general about not having Admiral Rachel Levine, as Secretary of Health and Human Services or whatever the hell she was, when she couldn't do a pull-up, and having a guy like Pete Hegseth in there who's strong, who's charismatic, who delivers a strong message, who's actually inspirational. You see the recruiting in our military going through the roof because of him. I know I'm very proud of everything he's done. Truly I am.
Now, you know that he talks to me occasionally, and I'm not as bullish as you are. And I always, no matter who it is, when they ask me my opinion, and I never volunteer an opinion to the president. He has to ask me. I'm not intruding on that level. But when you say that you're in favor of annexing Canada as a 51st state, that's not going to happen. And number two, tourism is down because Canadians are so teed off, they're not visiting here. So there was a downside to that thing that would never happen. That's what I'm talking about here, that kind of a discussion.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think if you kept a couple of the cities, I think Canada would probably go for us by about 85%. Right? I just got back from Canada last week. I was in the Yukon. I was in Whitehorse, and I can't tell you how much love there is coming out of Canada. But listen, irrespective, I think.
All right. Okay.
First of all, Bill, we'd be unstoppable in the Olympics. Let's just start there, especially the Winter Olympics. And I think that'd be a great benefit to taking Canada.
I've been to Whitehorse myself. There's 8 people there. But it's really an adventure to go. All right, now, getting revenge. So your whole book is, and it's a very interesting book, and I hope people check it out, that your family has just been battered for the past 9 years. And I know that. I'm an eyewitness to that because I did the first interview with the president when he declared his candidacy, as you may remember. And I've seen the Trump hatred evolve into hysteria in this country. So I'm perfectly understanding the situation, but others may not know how intense it has been for your family. But there is a point where a revenge play, as I just pointed out in Canada with the lower tourism now, might come back to hurt the country. So you got to pick your targets. Now, Comey, I'm fine with Comey. I don't know whether you read my column on Sunday, but I'm fine with indicting him. I got no problem with that, and I'm fine if he gets acquitted. If a jury acquits him, that's our system. But he's a bad guy. I can document his badness, and he should be held accountable. But some others, I think you got to be careful that you don't want to go too far in the retribution, revenge area. Am I wrong?
So no, you're not wrong at all. Bill, how long? You've known me for probably 20 years, right? You've seen me. I became the most subpoenaed person in American history. I had 112 subpoenas, and I've
That's
never gotten so
amazing.
much
I didn't know that.
I've
I
never gotten
did
so much
not
as a
know
parking
that.
ticket.
Right.
And you know why? And Bill, you know why they did that? Because my father had constitutional protections, being
Yeah.
the president of the United States. Guess who didn't have constitutional protections? His son, who ran his entire empire and everything that he had ever built. They impeached my father twice. They raided our home. They weaponized the DOJ. They weaponized the FBI. They took my father off of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They gag ordered him more times than you can count. I was getting a subpoena every single day. I was in a deposition every single day. They took him off the ballot in Colorado. They took him off the ballot in Maine. They fined us $560 million for never missing a loan payment and being a perfect company. They did everything they could to break up our family, to debank us, to deplatform us. I mean, that's the whole concept of Under Siege. And despite the fact that we had, negative 98% media coverage, meaning favorability-wise toward our family, toward my father, toward the movement, we beat these guys. And that's Under Siege, Bill. And so when the liberals cry about Comey, who very apparently, lied in front of Congress, lied to Ted Cruz, right? I mean, I think we all saw it. And by the way, this is an FBI director who was literally leaking memos to the FBI.
Well, that's all. Let the Justice Department prove that before we convict them here. But what's fascinating and beyond any challenge is that you were hauled into court, as you say, almost every day. Who paid for that? Who paid for your attorneys? Your family paid for that?
It probably costs us $400 million in legal fees because they wanted to make up sham cases. Oh, look at the Russia hoax. I was the guy that got the call from the FBI saying, hey, I hear you have secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower communicating directly with the Kremlin. And guess what, Bill? We didn't have any secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower. We're largely a cleud-based computer. So
okay, all right. You don't have to convince me or my audience that they went after you in an unprecedented way. Only Aaron Burr, who deserved everything he got from Thomas Jefferson, he's the only one close to what you went through. So you got Don Jr., who's a simpatico with you. I mean, it's the same thing. But Ivanka, your sister, very smart, she's kind of withdrawn from all this. She got out. Why?
Well, I think Ivanka wants to be a mom. She lived in Washington for 4 years. She battled like hell. Ivanka's an amazing person. I'm incredibly close. I mean, I think you know how close our entire family is. And, I think she got, kind of done with the political charade. Frankly, I did as well. The one thing I think I needed to materialize for not only my kids, but also for history and for everybody who got attacked in the MAGA movement was exactly what I wrote in this book. I mean, what they tried to do, how they tried to do it, the way they came after us, the 99% that no one actually saw on the front page of the New York Times. And so, honestly, I kind of got out of politics too. Once we won, in November 5th.
Yeah, I know. You and
Don Jr. I retired from politics because there's no more place for me to run.
But you really haven't, because your wife's involved and you wrote this book. Final question. Have any of the networks invited you on to talk about the book?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we went to #1 on Amazon almost instantaneously in every category. And by the way, I'm right next to you. Your book's doing phenomenal, so congratulations, my friend. But,
thank you.
Shockingly, they have. I mean, I can't imagine New York Times is going to...
Yeah. No,
I can't imagine New York Times is going to be thrilled to put me at the top of the list, which I clearly deserve, and I think the numbers will get me there. But no, I mean, listen, CNN was one of the first to call.
Yeah, you're going to have to fight it. Yeah, you're going to have to fight it out with Kamala. But what network invited you on to talk about your book?
Well, I mean, I think I've gotten probably outcoming from just about every network. Hey, listen, the main ones. Am I waiting for ABC? No, I can't imagine they're going to reach out anytime soon. But
that's what I mean.
I can tell you the amount of coverage for the book has been amazing. And
I know. I mean, you're a big guy.
It's gonna hurt a lot of feelings, Bill, and it deserves to hurt a lot of feelings because a lot of feelings deserve to be hurt on that side. I mean, the media in this country, as you know better than anybody, and you were, they were the PR arm of the Democratic Party for the last 15 years, and they've lost all their independence, and it's why independent voices like yours have really kind of
it's been longer than 15 years, about 30 years. Yeah. All right, the book is Under Siege. It'll be out October 14th, but you can order it in advance on Amazon. That will send a message, and we appreciate it, Eric. You're welcome anytime here. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Bill.
America is more dangerous than ever with violent crime on the rise. While you could rely on a firearm, using deadly force today can land you in court, costing you years and your life savings, trying to prove you acted in self-defense. FBI data shows 99.9% of all altercations do not require lethal force. That's why smart Americans are turning to Byrna. Proudly made in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Byrna's less lethal self-defense launchers are trusted by law enforcement, private security, more than 600,000 citizens. Byrna launchers fire kinetic rounds and powerful tear gas or pepper projectiles, able to stop a threat up to 60 feet away. No background checks, no waiting periods, delivered right to your door. Take control, be ready. Visit Byrna.com today. That's BYRNA.com, or head to your local Sportsman's Warehouse. Living on credit cards to cover daily expenses? Then you know those interest rates are brutal. Why pay 20% or more to the banks? Instead, call my friends at American Financing. With mortgage rates in the fives, they can help you keep your hard-earned money right in your pocket and out of the hands of credit card companies. Right now, American Financing is helping homeowners save an average of $800 a month by using their home equity to wipe out high interest debt. There's no upfront fees, no obligation, just a 10-minute call to a salary-based mortgage consultant. Plus, if you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments. That's more cash in your hands right away. So don't wait. Call American Financing right now. 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/bill. Here is a final thought of the day. October 9th, Thursday night, 8 Eastern Time. Q&A live for Concierge Premium members on Confronting Evil. So my co-author Josh Hammer going to make an appearance with me. We'll answer your questions. We'll have a good time. And we want you to submit your questions at BillO'Reilly.com/live. BillO'Reilly.com/live. October 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Concierge and Premium members, if you're not a member, please sign up. Get humongous discounts on all our stuff and Confronting Evil free, or any of my other books. What more can we do? It's going to be a rollicking good time. Okay, that is it for us today. Hope you enjoyed the program. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.